Sometimes people say, hey, JP, do a video about this thing. And I go, okay. And I think I could add that to the video, and that, and that, and that thing, and that other thing. And pretty soon, it's an epic story. All because some guy said, hey, JP, why don't you do a video about that thing? Which becomes another thing, and another thing, and another thing.
Guitar Stuff with John!
Welcome to another edition of Guitar Stuff with John. This is a very special video, and we've been thinking about it, and Ginger and I have been working on it in our heads here in the studio. It's actually the second shot at this because we've come up with so many ideas about how to do this. I had a very generous contributor from Scandinavia named Christoph, He's from Switzerland, Dick. It's not in Scandinavia. Jesus. Who wrote me and suggested, asked actually for a very specific type of video. And I thought, that's a really, he wants this, but I think other people would like to see this as well. And so here we are in the studio, and we're going to do what Christoph has asked us to do. And at the same time, I think we're going to present something very interesting to our viewers, because I get a lot of questions about this. Why do I choose to use the body types that I like the best, like OM and the small bodies? Why do I tend to maybe veer away from dreadnoughts a little bit, or those type of questions? Well, the fact of the matter is I love all of the body sizes, and I use them all for different things depending on what I'm playing, recording, performing, right? So the idea that we have, that Christoph asked us for, is he wants to hear Windy and Warm, and he wants to hear it on different bodies. And so we're going to do that. So the order in which these guitars will appear, just so you know, and I may put something up on the screen here, you might want to take a look around and see if I do. We're going to start with these. The body size will go Parlor, Triple O, OM, Dreadnought, and then Jumbo. So let's take a look at what this sounds like. And we will start with this wee little beastie right here, the Boucher that I call Ladybird. She's very tiny. So there you go. There's Windy and Warm, performed on 5 different body sizes. The first one is the parlor size guitar, a Boucher, of course. And the second one was a Triple O, Boucher again, the Ladybird and the Ivory Girl. Third guitar was a OM, which was the Ivory Girl, Boucher again. The Dreadnought was my Gallagher G70. And lastly was the Boucher Jumbo, the Enola Gay. and you're hearing it through this acid Martin with nothing. There's no filters, no compressors, nothing on, just the guitar. So you get a quick idea of definitely how bottom end changes throughout the range, right? And how the smaller bodies are perhaps clearer for fingerstyle, all the way up to the OM body. I find they're very good for fingerstyle. Dreadnought starts to push the envelope of how much mud there is in the bottom end, but it's also deeper, darker percussion when you play with that type of fingerstyle with a thumb pick, a soft thumb pick like Chet used, is sort of a slick pick idea. I used to use heavier Nationals and Golden Gates and things like that, but I find the action and the tone of these better, and obviously why Chet used them. They're very beautiful sounding picks. And then when we got to the jumbo, it became apparent, like, the bottom end is humongous on a jumbo, and the mids are really sharp on a jumbo, and the treble, where most of your melody is probably occurring, dies a little sort of on a jumbo, right? Fascinating exercise. This is for certain fact. Now, the next exercise we're going to do is we're going to flat pick a tune, a bluegrass tune, doing the same thing. We're going to go through the guitars the exact same way. We're going to start off with the parlor and work our way all the way to the jumbo. Let's get started. If we're going to do this fair, let's do it with a capo on, because most bluegrass picking you're going to do is going to be in the key of A for the fiddlers, you know. And if we're going to play that kind of a tune like Salt Creek, let's say, it's in the key of A, so here we go. The first thing you're going to notice from that exercise is that depending on the tune you're playing, it doesn't really matter what guitar body you have, because most tunes are played on the last 4 strings. And if the guitar doesn't have a lot of meat on them, and which most guitars really don't, you're going to get about the same tone, you know, basically. But not... Obviously, the jumbo is the biggest, fattest sounding guitar with the sharpest mid. Then we go down to the dreadnought, the Gallagher. That guitar is designed for bluegrass flat picking. It was Doc's guitar weapon of choice, and it's mine for that type of stuff. I also have a Boucher dreadnought, Boo Boo. It's same deal. And then you go down to the OM, same thing. It's a very versatile sounding instrument. And if it's a Boucher in this case, you know, there are other builders who build that quality of OM guitar. It can fill the space of a dreadnought very, very easily, because they're they're actually easier to play, and they just have a better projection for a microphone than a dreadnought, which has a ton of mud and bottom. And you'll notice, listening to the jumbo and the Gallagher, that the bottom end cycles way more than the smaller bodies. And then we go down to the triple O, the Yogi, same deal. That guitar is so clear for flat picking that it's frightening, and it has lots of bottom end in it. Now, the bottom end of that guitar can be affected by its proximity to the microphone, but in all honesty, that guitar has a ton of bottom end. and it's very clear, precise bottom end. So then we drop down from the triple O into the parlor size, and that's the one that's the least effective for flat picking. Parlor guitars are really interesting instruments because they are versatile, but you can't put them through their paces really hard. Like I'm using a big hard blue chip pick. I got to be careful how hard I hit a parlor when I'm flat picking. Although, I mean, if you were to play Celtic music on it, which is something else you do with a flat pick, it tends to like that better because it's a little more subtle. It's a fast guitar, so playing Celtic music and doing pick cuts and stuff, it accepts that better than the rapid 16th note, just tearing arse with a big heavy pick. So there you go. There's the rundown of the body sizes for fingerstyle and for flat picking. Obviously, the tunes that were chosen dictate a lot about how the guitars reacted. But like I said before, most of the flat picking you're going to do, you're working in the higher strings. Not to say you don't play the bottom strings, you definitely do. But melodically, most things are captured from the D string down when you're playing fiddle tunes and such. And it would actually take a much more in-depth video than this to explore, entire fingerboards of guitars for the purposes of each style. But let this act as sort of a guide so that you can tell, if you listen to this video with good headphones on or good speakers, you'll be able to tell the voice of each body. And these are pretty accurate across the board, the guitars that I've chosen to present in this video. Mind you, most of them were Boucher's. Sorry, he's my favorite builder. So the one the one guitar I chose to not use a Boucher was my Gallagher, and because I was picking a Doc Watson tune, might as well play my Gallagher, right? So anyhow, I hope you found this interesting, and there's nothing saying that we won't continue to actually flesh this idea out in future videos. And if you have ideas for things like this, feel free to contact us. If you like what you see on this channel, by all means, hit subscribe. It helps us a great deal, and it's free to you. And if you want to join our private membership, that join button is right beside the subscription button, right down there. Hit that button. And always keep playing the guitar, and I hope you never find your perfect guitar, because if you do, you'll have to stop looking. Stay tuned till next time. This has been Guitar Stuff with John. Keep on picking.